Hey there, today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different since it is more of a generic topic, albeit this will have quite a few probably specific examples for those in the miniature hobby space as I talk about hobby burnout. My name is Nate and welcome to the Gamers Guild. Alright, let's break this down into a few sections so that I don't start rambling. First, I want to try and define what is hobby burnout, then hit on some of the ways it seems to come about, then finally how to get through it. Burnout is typically seen as a state of mind where you feel empty, mentally exhausted, devoid of motivation, and best of all, beyond caring. Not fun stuff. Typically this is associated with daily routine, whether that is a job, raising kids, or whatever else your daily routine is. And typically some usually helpful advice is to get a hobby, which is where your hobby burnout can really begin to suck. So hobby burnout is what can happen when your hobby starts to stress you out more than it does help relax. If you answer to any of these questions, you either are experiencing or probably have experienced this before. Does the thought of picking up your hobby make you feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or detached? Maybe has your hobby started to feel like a chore that you need to check off your list? And then finally, do you feel more frustration than joy when thinking about your hobby? And just to be clear here, this can work for any individual aspects of a hobby as well. So for those of us who are mini wargamers, we could still be enjoying the building and painting part of our hobby while being burnt out on a game system, or vice versa, and sometimes even both. But why does it even come around in the first place? That becomes a pretty complicated question that can have answers varying pretty greatly depending on the hobby in question. Maybe the pile of potential backlog has become a bit menacing. Maybe you just had a really bad experience with a game that left a poor taste in your mouth. Maybe constantly making videos about games you enjoy feels like a job rather than a place to share your excitement. Really, the ways that it can come about are so many that I have no chance to really even scratch the surface, as it can be an internal process, it could be something that was caused by an external source. Heck, my wife loves crocheting, something that is commonly an individual kind of hobby, but she started going to a crochet group a few months ago that ended up being a bit toxic and left her burnt out of the hobby for a few months, even when she was just at home, unfortunately. The best thing I can say here is that after you recover from the burnout, look back to see what caused it for you so that you can try to avoid it going forward. So now for what is hopefully the helpful part of the video, how do you get over, through, around, or past the burnout? It's obviously going to differ from person to person, of course, but here are some tips. Examine your approach to the hobby and see if there is a change that you could make to reinvigorate it for you. For painters, this maybe means stop batch painting squads of 10 models and paint a special character who you can pick out more details on, or find some models that will change up the color palette that you are working with. For gamers, if you are frustrated with the meta or particular models in a game right now, find an opponent maybe looking to also take a break from the meta and play a different kind of game. Maybe even try out a narrative style game with asymmetric objectives, even if it's within that same system. Tip number 2 is to oddly go enjoy just a different hobby. Not like swap to a different game system, like swapping from MCP to 40K, though that can work too. I mean, heck, I even picked myself up a Grey Knight boarding action party because that seemed like a cool change of pace. What I'm really talking about, though, is swapping to another hobby altogether. Now, that could mean finding a new hobby altogether, or go spend some time with something else you've enjoyed in the past. If you want some chill time to yourself, maybe pick up a book, play a video game. If you're still wanting interaction with other people, try an RPG or a board game. I know personally we have taken a break from MCP locally to play Marvel Champions on more than one occasion. Not to mention some of the other cool board games that we just have laying around. Heck, if you want to go find a recipe you haven't tried in one of those cookbooks that you probably haven't opened since you got it, I have recently learned how to make like a 5-herb burrata and a roux-based cheese sauce for some super fancy mac and cheese. But the final tip I have for breaking out of the burnout is to just take a break. This could mean taking a nap, going on a walk, binge watching a TV show, hanging out with friends or family. Just take a break from hobbying until something excites that passion in you, because at the end of the day, if you aren't excited about your hobby, it has probably stopped fulfilling the purpose of a hobby. Let me know down in the comments what has helped you avoid or gotten out of a hobby burnout before. It also might help somebody else who is looking for ways to get out of one themselves. If you do, it also will enter you into the monthly giveaway done by Tritex, as long as you are also subscribed to the channel. Here at the end of the video, I want to give my sponsors a shout out. If you're shopping for your mini stuff online, consider using them to support an LGS that's hosting game nights and events, and really just a place to play for their local players. If you're shopping in the UK, you can shop at Tritex. Use the code TRITEXGGCP5 at checkout for an extra 5% off, and if you use that on a pre-order item like anything Shatterpoint related or the new Wakanda stuff coming out, it'll save you a total of 25% off of MRSP. If you're in the US, head to gamechefs.org and use the code GamersGuild, no spaces, to save an extra 15% off of their already discounted prices. And right now, any orders through them with that code will also enter you for a Star Wars Shatterpoint core box set, which is really generous of them. It also just comes out to a good bargain on your end. However, I will continue to say if you're shopping from your own LGS, just keep supporting them. We all understand and appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep on gaming.